Renee, this is the tutorial on how to upload your resized images to the WordPress media library. And you're going to, generally speaking, do this as a separate process from actually adding the image into the relevant page of a website. Indeed, I'll be doing most of that. So the task here is simply to pre-upload the image into the media library so that I can find it and put it in the right place. And it's a very simple process, but when there's lots of images, it's just time consuming, hence our present conversation. So after you've logged in at the WP admin suffixed page of the site, you come to the dashboard here, and you're simply going to find media in the menu, hover on it. You know you're hovering when you get the hand. And rather than clicking on media and then having to click again, hovering and then moving over and now clicking directly on add new. And that brings up a blank media page for you to enter the image to. There are two ways that you can add the image, either by just dragging and dropping it in here, or selecting. I tend to prefer the drag and drop. But perhaps it's easier to look at on this demonstration the select files version, so let's do that, but keep in mind that drag and drop is often quicker and easier. So we, in the last tutorial, created a new resized image. And then you go straight to edit. And now there are two key bits of data you want to include. The caption and the alternative text. Now the alternative text in our workflow will serve two purposes. It's primarily intended to serve the purpose of if a user was accessing the site in a location. This is really very hardly relevant now, but in the older days it was more necessary. But if the user was accessing the site at a location where data speeds were forbidding them from accessing the images or uploading the images, an alternative piece of text that describes the image would appear. So it's sort of like a backup. It's very unlikely that anyone will ever encounter that backup, but it's still best practice to include that data. In our case, it'll provide an additional benefit of enabling us to communicate directly with each other about where an image belongs in the site. So you would, in the alternative text, describe the image in somewhat more, perhaps in somewhat more detail than the caption. As I don't know the data, I'll make it up here. And then a second piece of information would be something like that. A note that communicates where in the website the image belongs. That may not be relevant if it's just an image that's going into the background image library, but if it's a particular image for a particular purpose meant to illustrate a particular point in the text, this is where to make a note of that. And then the caption is the actual text you want to appear on the screen for the user. So in this instance, it might be simply that. I'll leave it to you to expand on that if you wish. And then once those two bits of information are in, you'll see there is the option of a third down here, description. That field is unlikely to ever be used in the way we're designing the site. However, you do have the option there of putting detailed descriptive information that would be sort of longer than a caption. Um, I can't at this stage. I don't recommend doing it because I don't think we'll have a cause to use it. Our descriptive information invariably is occurring in the body of the text itself. So I'd be inclined to leave that blank. I guess if you wanted to leave a more detailed note to me about what to do with the image, it could go there, knowing, in confidence, knowing that it's not going to appear on the public part of the site in the way that we're designing the site. Just be sure to click update when you finish. And if you're uploading a large number of images, you can now immediately go straight back to add new and start again from here.